Hi, John. So I understand you've come into the office today to seek some guidance for your 13-year-old son since you've been incarcerated. You gained custody of him when he was 11. And I understand that you are looking for some possible guidance on how to become a better parent. Is that true?
Yeah, I got custody of him when he was 11, like you said, and up until that time, I had never been a parent to him. I had never been a parent at all. And then I got him when he was 11, and I felt like I was trying to be more of his friend than a parent.
Hmm. So, how's that been working so far?
And well, it hadn't been working well at all. He gets into trouble at school, he gets into fights at school and everything. And then he's on Snapchat all the time and he's mean to people on Snapchat. And then most recently, he was caught shoplifting from Walmart. They got him on camera, and so he's probably going to get in some trouble for that too.
Okay. Have you thought about, or in the home right now, are there currently any sort of boundaries, rules, consequences? Does he understand if he does this, this will happen?
I try to set rules and boundaries now, but that's just been for a couple of months. Up until then, we had gone the entire 2 years with, relatively little or few rules or consequences or anything like that.
Sure, and that makes sense to your own history as growing up with parents that didn't set rules and boundaries for you. So that makes sense because children mimic what they're taught. So therefore, you're parenting in such a fashion that your parents did as well. So do you feel like that was a good way to parent you as you were growing up?
Probably not.
So you're seeing
Okay.
that maybe some things need to change to make
Yeah,
yourself a better parent.
my son needs some consequences and everything. He has a good future ahead of him, but the way he's going now, he's going to ruin it.
Yeah, yeah. So you're afraid he's going to follow in your footsteps.
Oh yeah, definitely, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah. So
He looks up to me.
yeah, absolutely. Yes. And you're all he has right now as far as a parent.
Right.
So I'm proud of you for coming in and seeking the guidance. That's the first step. So for this particular shoplifting incident, what kind of consequences did he receive from you?
I really want to beat his ass.
Sure. Yeah, that's a
That
reaction.
that's what I want to do.
Right, right. Well, if you don't mind, maybe I can educate you a little bit that there are more effective ways to parent and to discipline.
Well, I don't know what would be. That's what I got when I was a kid.
Right, right. So therefore, it makes sense that that's what you want to do, and that's understandable. But again, there are more effective ways of parenting, and forms of discipline that don't have to be so harsh, that are more effective, so that you don't have to resort to that. One of the things I would suggest is maybe taking away something that he enjoys. Is there anything that he enjoys at home?
Oh yeah, he loves his video games and his cell phone. He's on them all the time.
Okay. That might be a good place to start. How would you feel about taking away his cell phone or his electronics?
I wouldn't have a problem with that. A couple of days, maybe
Hmm.
that'll work.
So he's 13, and one of the things you mentioned is you're afraid that he's going to follow in your footsteps. Do you think a couple of days of taking away electronics is going to impact him enough to where he will realize that he shouldn't do that again?
I mean, maybe. Maybe if he has to go a couple of days without his electronics and can't talk to anybody or something like that, maybe that'll work.
It's a good start. It's a good start. If you don't mind me offering a suggestion, I would suggest maybe a week's time at his age, because since he has been raised in that type of environment, he's never been able to be given, strict consequences. So it might be in order to give him a little bit harsher punishment for at least a week, so that
Right,
he can understand that this is something that he needs to do in order to understand that what he did was not appropriate.
right, right.
So, how do you feel though? Are you going to be okay taking that away from him for a week?
I'm not gonna like it because I know it's gonna hurt him, and I know he's not gonna be happy about it and everything. But if that's what I have to do to be a parent, then I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Absolutely, because in the end, it's doing him a disservice to not discipline him. He needs to understand that. I mean, just as you learned when you committed a crime, you had a consequence, and your consequence was quite harsh. and he needs to understand that when he does this, this happens. So, do you have any other form of discipline in the home as far as does he understand that, this is bedtime? Do you have rules and boundaries and consequences?
Like his bedtime, he goes to bed whenever he wants to and everything. And like the consequences, like I said, I really don't know what to do or anything like that. So I guess like taking the electronics and everything from him, that'll be a good start. And like the curfew, usually he goes with me anywhere that he goes with his friends, but when he goes somewhere with his friends or over his friends' houses, he usually just comes home whenever he wants to, or whenever he gets done.
Okay. Well, since you are seeking the guidance and wanting to learn some better parenting skills, I'd be happy to work with you on some of those things if you're willing to commit, and we can sort through some of that. To start, we've talked about the fact that you're going to take his electronics away. Do you agree that a week is more sufficient as far as being more effective for the type of crime that he committed?
Oh yeah.
Not to mention he most likely will have the police involvement as well, so we don't know.
Right, and I'm worried about that.
Exactly, yeah, and we don't know what kind of consequences are going to result from that.
Right.
So I think that that's a good place to start, along with talking with him. And that's an important piece to this, is not just grounding him and saying, look, no electronics for a week. There has to be a form of you sitting down with him and processing why these things got taken away from him, so that he understands that, you're not just being a mean person,
right,
that you're trying to help him better his life and go down a better path.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Right. Well, if you're willing, I'd be happy to see you next week, and we can recap what we've went over today and see how the punishment has gone for him, and then we can work on setting some more concrete rules and boundaries so that it's a healthy environment for him, as well as you learning to step into a different role to be able to guide him a little bit better, which I think would be wonderful for you guys.
Yeah, I would appreciate any help I can get.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, we'll see you then next week. It was nice seeing you, John, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Good to see you too.